Back.
Good job.
Okay.
Good job. Thank you, Ryan.
For the most immediate in terms of engagement in city council meetings, I think, this is a lot more participatory and therefore you're seeing more of the turnout. So that's certainly a facet I think needs to be a bigger part of city council. I think, at least to me, our city council meetings can be dry and tedious, and sometimes that's the nature of those meetings. But I also think all of it, there should always be a part where there's more engagement. Public comment is very restrictive. There's no going back and forth, and I've run out of time for the rest.
Thank you for your question. I do understand that it is sometimes challenging for people to get to city council meetings because of timing, things that they have going on at home, family engagements. We've been trying as a city to be very present at community events that happen on Saturdays. And with our community development department, online surveys where people can participate. So I think it's a lot about going out to events where people already are, and creating engagement opportunities. And yes, I would love to see more people in City Hall for city council meetings. And I do think that as we have gotten through some of the cleanup we've had to do, we hopefully will be moving into more collaborative aspects of the city to create more engagement at our city council meetings.
Thanks. Another question?
Which mistakes have you learned from the most over the last year, and how will that affect your leadership as mayor?
And Christine, start here.
I think the biggest one for me, I mean, not the biggest, but one that I saw as a mistake was the water boil advisory that happened within our city. I identified mistakes within our public works department for proper project planning and communications to our residents about the work that was happening, and the lack of crisis communication plan that existed within City Hall. After that incident, I did work with city staff to create a communications playbook that identified many of the mistakes we made, and worked with our public works department to put project plan expectations in place so that proper notifications are going out, and emergency plans are in place for future things like that.
I think clearly my biggest mistake was after a budget meeting, reaching out to a staff member to explain why I thought her position should be no longer funded. And it was, the mistake was not, I think, interacting as an adult with another adult, but in not respecting the process of the person who she reports to, and recognizing that there was a process in play. I simply saw it as a public meeting and public information, and I tried to share my opinion about why that was and the other opportunities that I thought were forthcoming. But I could have handled that much better, and I wish I had.
Thanks. Got time for one or two more questions.
If the city does not vote for and we don't get the lot increase, how would you propose funding the increase need for safety and the street projects?
Suzanne?
I actually believe that there's a lot of wasteful spending already, that there are, as with some of the positions that I've already mentioned, I believe not in taking those positions, ending them in the general fund and putting them, those staff members into different funds, which returns money to the general fund, over $100,000, $150,000. So some of those very, very standard strategic moves in terms of staffing changes to benefit us as a whole, putting people on the front line. And then again, cleaning up some of the other wasteful spending in small $5,000 and $10,000 increments. I believe there's more than enough money to fund what we need next year.
If lot funding didn't go through, I would continue to pursue regardless grant funding for our street projects. I would work on a state, federal, and local level to secure grants, low interest loans through the government if needed. I think that the idea of, stealing from Peter to pay Paul, within the current budget, doesn't quite make sense. We're finally fully staffed as a city. We found a way to fully staff our emergency services. And to go backwards or make an adjustment from there, won't work. I think looking at revenue and grants is the way forward.
How do both of you feel about the road zipper idea, and have you talked to streets department people about whether it's achievable?
Can you clarify what the road zipper idea is?
Yeah, Suzanne has proposed using a road zipper sort of machine. I'm not super educated on it, but I hope that both of the candidates have talked this over with streets department to see if it's achievable.
I just want to make sure that the audience members know. they-
Suzanne talked
Yes.
about it and she answered one of the questions.
Okay.
It's a full depth reclamation.
So
device
that's, I'll just say answer within our time.
You've been answered within your time the entire time practically.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just saying we can answer the question within our
We don't want to
time.
be rude to the candidates. It's a lot to be.
You're right, let's just keep it all.
Yeah, go ahead and answer the question
Yeah,
now.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I have been made aware of the zipper and talked to Casey within our streets department. I think anytime using technology to create potential cost savings within materials, so using wrap, which would be the road mix that's created, is a great idea. Unfortunately, a lot of our roads do not have any base to them. And so talking about chip sealing or, using wrap, while could create efficiency, there's still a lot of costs there. So needing to rebuild our bases it is the most important thing for us to move forward with our roads.
Actually, the number one thing that the asphalt zipper folks that are a company out of Utah talk about is the resistance within the street departments within certain communities. The communities that embrace it and the street departments want to do it, they rebuild their roads in a matter of days and weeks for significantly reduced cost. Actually, the full depth reclamation is about creating bases. And what you do is you churn up what's there. Sometimes you have to add a little more if there wasn't enough to start with. And you lay the base. And then on top of that, you chip seal, or you can even asphalt over that. You have the same flexibility as any other situation.
Thanks. We'll do one more question before we move on to candidate questions.
What would you do to retain city staff and or increase morale?
Suzanne, we'll start with you.
I would actually say that giving people the opportunity to be proactive and achieve definable goals would be a huge accomplishment. It's far more important, I believe, for people to be able to achieve metrics, for people to be able to deliver the services in a consistent way. I think that's absolutely essential to morale. And I don't believe we have that. I think we just look outside and see that we struggle to get things done, and that's a painful process for everyone.
I've worked for the last year to rebuild morale because of high turnover with elected officials and high turnover with staff. I've implemented bi-monthly staff meetings and a lot of interdepartmental collaboration. When there have been instances of council members, my opponent demeaning staff in newsletters or threatening their job, I have done a lot of team building exercises internally to make sure that staff understands their importance in serving the residents and being part of what is good about City Hall.
Thanks. Okay, we'll go ahead and go into candidate questions. So Suzanne, you can go first, ask Christina your question, and we'll flip flop.
Well, timely, I actually had a different question, but I was hoping for you to enlighten me about when I threatened somebody's job.
Is that the whole question?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think that was,
no, I just want to.
because no,
So, what I was referring to was actually something you brought up, as your mistake that you learned from, which I really appreciated hearing that answer. It was during the budgeting season when you, said that our accounts payable employee, we didn't need her job anymore, and then proceeded to send a direct email to her explaining why her job was not valuable. And I think that that's somebody who's been with the city for a very long time, and what that does to morale and what that does to people feeling safe and secure in the job. And then the conversion, the trickle effect that it has on the efficiency and effectiveness at City Hall can be very detrimental.
Christina, you can go ahead and ask your question.
My question was on the same topic, but I'm sorry for beating the dead horse.
Go for it.
Trust is the foundation of effective leadership, especially in close-knit community like Bellevue. My question is, leadership requires building consensus and inspiring confidence. Can you describe how you would successfully lead our city and collaborate with staff, council, and residents if your leadership style does not earn their trust?
First of all, I think part of the reason that there are many people here today is that many residents do trust me, and they have been showing that over the last couple of elections, right? I've won 40% the first time I ran, and almost 40%, and I was elected this last time. With the staff, I understand there's a battle brewing, but I think it starts with, again, creating a culture where they're proactive and not reactive, so that every time a topic's discussed or an idea is explored, there isn't a bunker that gets created and you can't even listen and you can't explore. So I think that's a big part, is appropriate communication like that.
Thank you.
All right, so now you each could give your closing statement, and you've got 1 minute each. Suzanne, would you like to begin?
Sure. Change doesn't always happen overnight. It's taken 2 years and 2 elections to get to this moment. In 2023, you lit the spark when you supported me as a political newcomer with nearly 40% of the vote. And in 2024, others built on that foundation, and you were able to elect me to the Bellevue City Council. And now in 2025, we stand on the precipice of the change we've been trying to make. Every vote you have cast for me has been more than support. It's been a message. Keep going. Keep fighting to make residents the #1 priority at City Hall. Keep pushing for transparency, for accountability, and for a higher standard of service. That's exactly what I've done. And now our 2 years of working together have carried us to this one decisive day. Because if Bellevue votes for change on November 4th, November 5th won't just be the day after. It's the moment everything shifts. Overnight, we have moved from the status quo to a future led by residents, rooted in transparency and possibility. So vote for change on November 4th, so we can wake up the next day and start building the future we've been working toward.
Listening to the discussion tonight, the choice before us has become clear. It's a choice about how we lead and who we trust to guide our community forward. It's a difference between only identifying issues and having a proven record of beginning to solve them. It's a difference between an outside perspective and the experience of a leader who has already been doing the work with a dedicated team day in and day out. My vision for Bellevue is optimistic because I see the strength in our room of people here, and in our neighborhoods. I see people who, like me, believe in rolling up our sleeves and working together. My commitment to you is rooted in the same values we teach our children: listen more than you speak, lead with integrity, and always look out for your neighbor. And that's why my priorities are clear: ensuring our families are safe by fully supporting our first responders, securing our future through smart investments in our infrastructure, planning for growth that respects the uniqueness of Bellevue, and leading with a collaborative spirit that invites every single voice to the table. This is the standard I've held myself to as your mayor, and it's the standard I will continue to uphold. Bellevue is at a pivotal moment, and we can either face our challenges with division and uncertainty, or we can face them together with proven leadership and a shared sense of purpose. I'm asking for your trust, your support, and your vote on November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bert, for being here tonight. Early voting is open now in the Blaine County Courthouse, and if you would like more information on registering to vote, absentee ballots, early voting, that kind of thing, the Blaine County Elections Department they have a very useful website to that end. And voteidaho.gov is the Secretary of State's website.
Also, the Community Development Department of Bellevue is conducting an October survey right now. We would love if all of you would participate. There's a QR code by the door.
Nice pitch. Get them while you have them here.
That was great.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I have my back to for this guy.
No worries. Thank you. Good job. Good to see you. Good luck. Oh, yeah, that was the city this time. They gave me the fun, but.
Oh, I'm not here the last time.
Thank you for facilitating that. I really Thank appreciate you it. for coming.
Thank you.
Good job. Good luck.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have a copy of it. You gotta find
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty clear video, just on this phone.